Shout out to Miss K, because the first person I saw when I logged on TikTok today was her telling me to go and do a post, stop being lazy. I am definitely feeling that way today. More so tired. But I literally have been in this chair all day and getting things done. So I feel accomplished, right? I do work from home, so I was working, but I also work for myself in the process. Or do research, or write, or do some, study in whatever way I need to. So yeah. How many of y'all know that just because you're sitting in one spot doesn't mean you don't exhaust yourself by using your brain? That's literally how I'm feeling right now. Like, my dog is begging me to take him walking, and I am struggling to do so. But I'm going to make myself do it so I can feel some sun on my face and get some vitamin D. But I wanted to share some stuff with y'all real quick before I go on about the day. Tomorrow morning will be the weekly blog reading. And I also released an article today if you're connected to my Substack. If not, it will be officially the teaching on YouTube will be officially released on Wednesday morning, and I'll post a snippet of it on here so that to remind y'all if y'all want to go check it out. All right, so before I jump into what else I wanted to share with y'all, I started reading Killing Rage, Ending Racism by Bell Hooks, and I wanted to share this with y'all real quick. What she wrote, she said, "Those of us who remember living in the midst of racial apartheid now know that the separate spaces, the times apart from whiteness, were for sanctuary, for reimagining and remembering ourselves. In the past, separate space meant downtime, time for recovery and renewal. It was the time to dream resistance, time to theorize, plan, create strategies, and go forward. The time to go forward is still upon us, and we have long surrendered segregated spaces of radical opposition. Our separation now is usually mere escape, a sanctuary for hiding and forgetting. The time to remember is now. All our words are needed to move past the pain, to feel the power of change, transformation, revolution. We have to speak now, acknowledge our pain now, claim each other and our voices now." And before this, she was talking about how, out of, I guess, a sense of protection, the black community had gotten into the habit of not truly having race talk. Like, we would reference it in a way that would either make us laugh or in a performative side, which we do now, right? We always talking about how we don't never take nothing serious in the black community because we always making jokes out of stuff so that we can deal. And that's what we do. But she was talking about how before this, she was talking about Toni Morrison, and she said, Toni Morrison calls race talk the explicit insertion into everyday life of radical signs and symbols that have no meaning other than pressing African Americans to the lowest level of the racial hierarchy. Why would we want to talk about that? But the issue is, my people, us not talking about it has allowed the oppression to continue to grow, even if it was behind the scenes. What I've come to understanding through the weekend is that, I hate to say it, but we let it happen. We were comfortable. We were complacent. We were blinded by peace because it seemed like the country was doing great. Now that I think back to the DNC last year, how hopeful we all thought we were and how great. It's so funny because while all of that performance was taking place, real talks was taking place behind the scenes about how performative what we were doing really was, because they have the power. If you have a chance and you don't mind listening to preaching, Dr. Pastor Jamal Bryant, his 6-year church anniversary was this Sunday past, yesterday. And they had a prophet Elijah Israel, last name starts with an S. Forgive me for not knowing his full name. When I tell you his message was so on point, so powerful, so confirming to what God had been showing me. Like I was up till like 3 something this morning just receiving downloads, taking notes, reading different things, doing research, and just receiving what God was giving me for my calling and the way that he has anointed me to invoke transformation through the renewal of minds. And so many of us on here have a similar calling to that, just in our own unique ways. I encourage you all to go and watch that if you feel up to it. At least some of his part, because he is a Nigerian man from the UK coming into America. He said he jumped over he jumped over the wall before things got too bad. But man, when I tell you the way he was speaking to African Americans, like if you watch just the earlier parts of his teaching, that's not even him speaking directly to Dr. Bryant. He's speaking to African Americans in this country. And before I watched this, it's funny, I didn't watch it yesterday like I normally would. I couldn't figure out why, because I was sitting here writing and doing research and reading and doing all these things, that I didn't take the time to watch it, which I wasn't meant to, because literally the downloads I was receiving through the night were confirmed through his teaching. Y'all, I'm going to give you like Cliff's Notes. What we're really battling against is the desperate attempt for those in power to maintain power. We know this, right? But we use words like white supremacy. What it really and truly boils down to, point blank and period, is colonization and racism. And I'm going to unpack that a whole lot more in the coming weeks as I begin to share what I received and what I've been learning and how I've been decolonizing my own ways of thinking and looking at things, and deconstructing even, because all of us are going to have to decolonize and deconstruct our thinking when it comes to finances, when it comes to work, when it comes to religion, when it comes to how we see each other, how we see others. There's a lot of work to be done that we have been asleep and in a slumber, not feeling the need to do it. And now here we are. Our feathers have been ruffled and we are being forced. And when I tell y'all, I'm encouraging y'all to go. If I take time this evening with the energy, I wanted to do some clips of it and post it on here for y'all. I'm going to try and do that later, because it is a pretty long video. It's like 3+ hours of everything that's from beginning to end. So I'll try to do some clips later on. But I'm telling y'all, we are no longer in the time where we can avoid race talk or require that only men have those conversations. It's just time. And we have to acknowledge the fact that we were asleep at the wheel. And we brought other generations in to do the same. But who had the most power during the civil rights movement in the past? It was the youth. College students. Some even high school students. Early 20s. They had the most impact and power. But they also had the support of the older generation. And we have been dropping the ball, y'all. We've been asleep. We've been in a slumber. And we've been at war the whole time. And now we have no choice but to acknowledge that we are at war. Because now our way of life literally is at stake. Not just our souls behind the scenes. All right. I did not mean to talk this long. I'll talk to y'all later. I'm going to try and take a nap and then get back to it. All right. I'll talk to y'all in the morning. Peace.